Hello everyone. Just want to start off by saying that you should always do research about an animal before you purchase one. You always want to find out as much as possible before you get the pet, because you don't want to catch yourself off guard with situations you cannot handle. These videos are based on my experience and my opinions. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, so please do not criticize these videos, as everyone has their own opinions. What I might do for my pets, it might not be what you do for yours. So please enjoy these videos, and I'd like to hear as much feedback as you guys as possible on these videos. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to the second video of corn snake care. This video is going to be about acquiring your new corn snake, what you should look for when acquiring one. I first want to start out by saying that corn snakes grow to be about 3 to 5 feet long, and occasionally even more than 5 feet, rarely 6 feet. So with that being said, you gotta make sure that you have enough space for your corn snake to be able to house a fully grown adult corn snake. I also want to point out too is that you also gotta realize that corn snakes can cost you a lot of money depending on the size of the collection that you're going to have. For example, if you have one specimen, then it might cost you, anywhere between $500 a year or so. That's rough numbers. That's not exactly. Depending on how you feed it, substrate, if you have to get it a light, a new heat source, it depends. It could vary. And then it goes higher up with the more amount of corn snakes that you have in your collection. I also want to point out too is that you're going to have to spend a lot of time on corn snakes. You're going to have to spend hours a month cleaning out the cage, taking out your corn snake, handling it, giving it the exercise. So you also got to realize that you have to spend a lot of time with these corn snakes. So before we continue, you must make sure that you have ample amount of time to spend with your corn snakes. You realize that corn snakes can cost you a lot of money, and make sure that you have the amount of room it takes to set up for a corn snake. Alright, a few things I want to say when acquiring your new corn snake. A few things that you should look for. First off is, one of the main important things when looking at a new corn snake is the weight of the corn snake. When you look at the corn snake, do you see its backbone or ridge? If so, this could be problems of it not being fed properly, it's not eaten, or along those lines, something along those lines. You also want to look for too on a corn snake is to make sure that it is plump and then flatten out on the bottom, because that shows a good healthy weight of a corn snake. A few other things when looking at a corn snake that you want to look for is its mouth fully closed. You want to make sure the mouth is fully closed. If not, it could be a sign that there's mouth rot or dry rot in the mouth, or abscess, which could cost you money with veterinary bills. You don't want to collect a corn snake that has some health issues. Another thing you want to look at for a corn snake is any bubbling or foam coming out from the nostrils or the mouth. This could be signs of respiratory infection. Corn snakes can get respiratory infections fairly easily, so you want to look out for a corn snake with that. You do not want to acquire a specimen with that problem. Another thing I want to talk about too in corn snakes is that if you're picking it up in person, you should ask the owner if you could personally pick it up to see the reactions of the corn snake. Is your corn snake active? Corn snakes are always looking around because they're curious. You want to look for a corn snake that does that. You also want to look at the corn snake too, see if there's any parasites or anything on the corn snake. You want to make sure that you don't see no white speckles on the corn snake or any black speckles, as these might be mites or ticks. Also, when acquiring the corn snake, look to see if the corn snake is sitting in the water bowl. If it's sitting in the water bowl for an extended period of time, this could mean that the snake has mites or ticks on it, and that the corn snake is trying to drown the mites or ticks. Another important thing too when acquiring a new corn snake is that you want also ask the owner of the corn snake when was the last time they fed the corn snake. See if the corn snake has had any problems eating in the past. Because you want to make sure that when you acquire a new specimen, that you want to make sure that it's eaten properly and that you won't have no problems feeding it. The last thing you want to do is bring home a corn snake that won't eat and it dies shortly after. Now, if you're acquiring a corn snake by mail, you should always email the provider and see if you could get a photo of the exact snake that you're getting. Because the last thing you want to do is be disappointed in getting a snake that you didn't want in the mail, or getting a snake that you thought you were going to get with the cool pattern and not getting that same exact snake. So you got to be careful about that too. The last thing you want to do is open up a package and be disappointed in the snake that you got. You also want to be careful too when getting a corn snake, is that not all hatchling corn snakes look the same as they get older. For example, a blood red or diffuse corn snake, as they're also known as, has patterns when it is younger. However, with age, the patterns disappear with each shed and it turns into a solid red snake. So you want to be careful that you know what the corn snake looks like as a hatchling and adult, because the last thing you want to get is a corn snake that you think looks cool as a hatchling and turns out to be something different when it's an adult. Now, one of the main important things when acquiring a new corn snake, when you finally get the corn snake, is patience. You want to quarantine the snake, if you have other corn snakes that is. You want to quarantine the corn snake, sorry about that, before you put it in with all your other corn snakes. This is so because in case it does have mites or ticks, it could easily transfer over to different cages. So you don't want your whole entire collection being infected by these mites or ticks, overrun by them, because then you could look at a costly cleanup for you. Many people might also say, oh, you know, I want to feed my corn snake the day after I get it. As long as the owner has fed the corn snake recently, you can wait a couple more days to feed it. This is so because you don't want to stress out the corn snake. The corn snake has to get used to a new home. And by throwing a mouse or a food item, food prey in there, you could confuse the snake and make it even more stressed out. So always be patient and wait 2 to 3 days before you start handling your corn snake and feeding it. So the main thing is that you want to be patient. You don't want any diseases or anything that comes with your corn snake to be transferred over to your other corn snakes. So ideally, you want to keep your corn snake quarantined for anywhere between a month to 2 months, maybe longer. Some people suggest shorter. You know, it's up to you. To make sure that the other corn snakes in your collection do not also get whatever this corn snake has, in case it does have something. Not saying that all corn snakes have something, but you know the gist of it, just in case. So, with that being said, just as a quick overview, you want to be patient with your corn snake when getting it. You want to look for signs of underweight corn snake. You want to ask the owner how has it been feeding. You want to ask the owner also about any previous health problems with the corn snake. Some people might lie to you and say that there was none. Some might, tell you. So always beware of the corn snake that you're acquiring, and make sure you can spend the time and the amount of money on this corn snake before you purchase it, and make sure you have enough space for it as a full-grown adult. Thank you for watching this video, Corn Snake Care, Acquiring a Corn Snake. If you felt like I left anything out, or that I was completely wrong about any point I made in this video, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear your feedback on what you thought of how I did in this video. Just remember, everyone does things differently. There might be 100 ways to do one thing. So please do not criticize on how I care for my corn snakes in these videos. Other than that, guys, thank you for supporting me like always. Hope you liked the video, and I hope I could help you out. Look out for within next week for Corn Snake Care, the 3rd video on how to set up a cage and substrate. Thank you for watching and supporting, guys. Have a good day.